Welcome back to the Eye Jupiter Live. Happy New Year's, Merry Postponed Christmas, and all the above. This is the first live of the year. We come on with a new camera, we come on a new background, and today we have on Lyria, which she is decided to, I asked her to come back on. She graciously accepted, and we're going to get more into her story. We kind of barely scratched the surface, and we had a little bit of talk in the background. She's looking well. I'm very happy that she's here. Speaking of you guys being here, if you've not yet have done so, please like and subscribe to the channel. You can also find me on Rumble, and if you please do me a favor, you can go on to whatever podcasting website you go to, whether it be iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all the above, and you can find my podcast. Please do me a favor, download a few episodes and leave a rating. That would help me out immensely. Let's see, if you're into merch, you want yourself some merch, boom, we got some merch for you right there. The description is down below. Get yourself a nice t-shirt or something of the above. What else was I going to? Oh yeah, there's going to be a live this month every Wednesday and every Friday, and eventually I'm going to phase them towards just Fridays, at least for the time being, until I'm able to support the podcast a little better, and I can then get out of the physical labor work that I have to do at the moment. So with that being said, let me go ahead and promote real quick. Magical Journey is going to, so I will be on Fridays at 6 p.m., maybe 5:30 in the future. I'm going to see how that works out, because sometimes lives are a little bit longer than the regular pre-recorded episode. So that'll be at 6 p.m. Central Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And of course, Magical Journey is on at 7. That would be 8 Eastern Time. And that might be moved to 7:30, 8:30, so we can kind of put them together. And then I will be promoting his podcast, and he will then be also be promoting mine. This week, he's going to be having on the wonderful Eric Freeman Sims, the owner of the Night House. And he also just released a book. So I will be having on too, I think, later next month, I think. He'll be on my podcast as well. With all that being said, all that out of the way, please, let's have a warm welcome to the Eye of Jupiter podcast, Lyria Witch.
Hi. It's so good to be here.
So good to have you here. Happy New Year's.
Yeah. Happy New Year. 2025.
2025. So it's going to be a fun one. Let's enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah.
It's the first live of the year. I couldn't imagine anybody on better than yourself, and I'm so happy that you came and joined us today.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm excited.
Well, Lyria, please, so am I. Lyria, please we have this little bit of a delay. Please let everyone know who you are, maybe where we can find you. If you're promoting anything, please go ahead and do so.
My name is Lyria. You can find me at the handle of Lyria Witch on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and that's really about it right now. I'm in the works of making a podcast, but we're waiting on we have equipment being delivered next week. So
oh yeah, like I said, I just got my camera yesterday, and I was like, I'm going to try this mug out, and I just popped on last night to see if it all worked out before I had you on, to make sure there was no like strong learning curve or something messed up. So you were on with our but I didn't know you were friends with him, so you were on with Magical Journey as well.
Because that's why I was in the live that night with you, Magical Journey, and Fisher of whatever, Fisher of Spams.
Fisher of Spams, the Night Watch, yes.
I can always remember the Fisher part. I can never remember the other part. And
we just call him Fisher.
Yeah. Hey Fisher, shout out Fisher, I love you.
Shout out Fisher, great guy, great podcast. Please do me a favor, go ahead and see if here's Magical Journey's podcast. Please do me a favor, like and subscribe to his channel as well. We're trying to get him to that magical number of 500, and I think Fisher just passed 200, and I think Magical Summer's around 240-ish, 230-ish, 240-ish, something like that.
Yeah.
Hey,
because I like and subscribe.
You
guys should too.
There is. It's Jesus Alberto Medina Juan. Is this Chewy? Jesus Alberto Medina Juan. It's Chewy. What's up, Chewy? They always have 4 names here, and I was making sure I was speaking to the right person. What's up, buddy? What's up? Yeah. Sorry about that. It was just a little
No, you're fine.
little left field over. He messed me up. Yeah, he messed me up with a little. He is it. So in Mexico, if your name is a certain name, you have a certain designated nickname. So if your name is Eddie or Eduardo, your designated nickname is Lalo. So if it's Jesus or Jesus, your dedicated nickname is Chewy, like from Star Wars. I don't know why.
It's the same,
but that's
it's the same in El Salvador. Like my husband's from El Salvador, and he's like, oh yeah, like this is
right,
my son.
right.
Like his name's like Vilmer, but we call him Larry. And I'm like, okay, like
never makes any sense. Never makes any sense.
And I'm like that's an El Salvadorian thing, or like that's just like your family thing. And he's like, no, it's like people in El Salvador. Like, I'm like, of course. Why wouldn't you make that correlation? Like,
right. You know, it's a cultural thing that we just don't know yet, but it's still fun
because there's a meaning behind it. Yeah, we just aren't clicked into that. I guess I don't know.
Absolutely.
My name's pretty much the same, like in both languages. So I'm like, I'm good.
Yeah, Lyria's Lyria. So Lyria, where we left off, I think we were a couple months ago, 2-3 months ago, if I remember correctly. You moved from, I believe it was the Ozark area or Appalachia, something like that. And you moved
it was in the Ozarks. City? Yep, I moved to Kansas City, where I still am right now, and we're under a foot of snow as we speak.
Ooh. Well, I'm under the tropic sun. We had a little cloud today, but it was nice. It was maybe 80 degrees. It was nice today. Wonderful day.
I'm ready to move somewhere not snowing, like somewhere not cold. But yeah, I had moved to Kansas City. I was 19. Or about to be 19, and I had moved to Kansas City, and I found this like really crappy like 1-bedroom apartment above a bar, and there was like 4 or 5 other apartments like in a like mini complex above this bar, and there was this girl there. She had neon pink hair, covered in tattoos, covered in piercings. Like I thought, like being a country bumpkin, she just was like the whole reason why I moved to the big city, you know, like
a neon lights, like there she is.
And like girl crush 100%. I always saw her in the hallway. I was always too shy to talk to her. And finally one day she said, you know, I'm going to this group of women. I go to this group. It's a group of women, and we just it's like an empowerment group. And we help women find their voices. And she goes, I think you would really like it. I think you should come with me. At that point, she could have invited me to go lion hunting. Like, if she invited me, I was going to go. Like, anything to spend time with you, girl. And, well, it ended up, it was like a coven meeting that she was in. Now, it's not like a typical, it's not, I mean, they call it a coven, but it really was just like an empowering group of women who just happened to be witches. They called it a coven, but it wasn't really set up like later on that I found out like your typical coven. Everybody had individualistic paths. Nobody really followed the same thing. Some people had little bits of everything that they had just kind of picked up along the way to add to their path. And it was really great. It really opened my eyes. And that first night that I was there, they were talking about like folklore and like the traditions of like mountain magic and like folk magic and stuff like that. And these things that they were talking about that these people do in their rituals, like hanging a horseshoe upside down. Like you hang it upside down so the luck doesn't fall out. Like that's like an old like country, like my family's like old
that
country
one I know.
tradition. Yeah, or like putting like a corn cob above your door because it'll catch all the evil, catch all the spirits to get all the empty pockets after you eat a corn.
That's why they do that. That's why I didn't know that's why they did that.
Because it'll catch all the all the evil spirits. It'll trap them so they can't get in your
Wow.
front door. Yeah, like stuff. It was just like
Yeah,
stuff
phone
like
calls are
that.
confusing.
Yeah, because it was a lot of things like that, and I'm like, oh, like I was raised like doing this. Like I was raised, you know, doing a lot of these things. And so I actually remember I called my grandmother, and this was like right before like she like suddenly passed away. I called her and I said, oh, like, you know, I went to this women's group and it was really fun. And I said, you know, we were talking about like these certain topics, and a lot of these things they were talking about are like the traditions that like we do in our family. And I said, and they also talked about like the link to like, you know, kind of witchcraft and stuff like that. And she said, well, we don't talk about that in this family. We just do what we do. And that was the only explanation I got, because she passed away like a month later. And but I found like an old diary of hers, and I think that my family were practitioners, but they were like, you keep quiet. If you need help from somebody, like you go meet them in the backwoods with a lantern to get whatever done that you wanted done. I've learned that now. But at the time, you know, I didn't have an answer. So I kind of really dove into those traditions and the history behind it and all of those women in that group, because they were so individualistic and just really made things their own. Like nobody followed the same thing. Even if they happened to follow the same thing, they never did it the same. And so that really helped me understand really how like forming your path, it is up to you. There's nobody that says what you can and cannot do. Nobody. Like you're the one who says what you can and cannot do. And so it really was life changing. I'm so glad I'm still friends with a lot of those women today. The girl with the pink hair, she sadly passed away a
Cool.
couple years ago, but like, yeah, I love her. She was great.
It's awesome. So someone asked a question.
Yeah.
You are of course a white witch. I wouldn't have a black witch on the show, of course. She's a white witch. I wouldn't
Mhm.
have a black witch on the show. Here's your link tree at the bottom, everybody. If you want to go over see what Lyria is up to, what she's into, she is going to be starting a podcast, hopefully, and I'm looking forward to that as well.
Yeah. Yeah, but my
We'll get you
podcast,
there. We'll help you out.
yeah, but my podcast, is different than a lot of the people I hang out with on social media. I'm mostly into true crime. I find true crime
Okay.
really fascinating, like unsolved cases, wrongly convicted cases, and missing people that are still missing. Those are
That's
the
fine.
things that
That's
really
fine.
like drive me. And our city has a
Yeah.
lot of those
Yeah.
cases. And so done a lot of interviews last couple weeks. Met a family who actually are going to come, like they want to do an episode with me when we get things up and running, and learning about their
Awesome.
family and their missing loved one. Yeah, so I'm really, really excited. I'm really excited
Go
about
ahead and
that.
promote it on the Facebook page. Go, if you're on Instagram,
Yeah.
I'm over on there too. Go promote it
Hmm.
over there on my wherever you
Yeah.
need. You let me know, and
Hmm.
we'll get it out there. Okay, I promise.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, that's what we do, man. That's
Yeah.
what we do.
Hmm.
It's like a little. We have a podcast coven.
Right. I know.
Sorry,
Like it
Jim.
really is. It really, really is, and I love it. That's what all
Yeah, that's what we're
we
about.
should all make like satin jackets that match. Like
Oh, we can wear like those 50 jackets. Like we could be in
yeah,
Greece,
like
and we can just start going.
yeah. Cause the girls had the satin jackets. Sorry. We're gonna have leather jackets because they're more unisex. Because like we're bad bitches.
A quick question for you. Yeah, a quick question for you. We have our
Mhm,
first. This person is new to the channel, a cult
mhm.
examiner. He said, just found the channel, Appalachian root worker and scholar. Does that mean anything to you, Appalachian root worker?
Um, well, I mean, I think that's well, a root worker, like the root, like that's, I think that would really like best describe like what my family was doing that I know of now, like not in the beginning of my
Okay.
own magical journey. Um,
Magical
Because there
Journey.
is,
Nice little
yeah,
plug.
there is a for, yeah. Oh yeah, like unintended, like pun and plug. That's
Unintended,
awesome.
but yes, awesome. That was a double, dude. That was great.
Uh, because, uh, because it, like root work, a lot of root work is more, it's more like Christian based, kind of like how Santeria is like, it's like Catholic plus, the root work and stuff
Right.
like that. That's like when you hear about people like, it's almost like apothecary in a lot of ways. Like, oh, like I have a backache and I can't work my field. And so you would go to the person to heal you and, like healers and stuff like that. But the root workers, they would not only could they physically heal you, but they would heal you with like, you felt like you had been like touched by an evil spirit, or you felt, they would help with metaphysical and physical ailments. And so,
Hmm.
but an Appalachian root worker, like specifically the word Appalachian, that is more in the Appalachian Mountains, like in like Tennessee, Kentucky, in that area. Even though the Ozark cave system and the Appalachian cave system are connected underground. And
Right.
I think that's
Right.
why there's so much strange activity in both places, because they're
Let's
secretly
see.
connected.
He's this person. He, she, they. I don't know who you are exactly, but fair enough. My root work is everything down to the ancestors and genealogy. So far from a Christian. Oh, so you're more like Magical Journey, more like a Green Witch. Okay,
Yeah.
go check out Magical Journey and go ahead and connect with him. If you want to talk to him, he's also a Green Witch and
Yeah.
he's really into ancestry and more. He's more into like
Mhm.
different minerals and things like that. So you're more like my buddy, like one of my best friends. Go over check out his channel and go
Mhm.
talk to him. You can find him on Facebook and I'll just collect those links for you.
Yeah.
You'll get a hold of him.
Well,
So
and
what is
my
it that
practice of
you?
root
Oh, sure.
oh, I said, well, my practice of root work is the Ozark practice, which is different from the Appalachian. So, but I think it's cool what you're doing. Like, hit me up. I want to let me follow you.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's
So maybe you
awesome.
can
So,
get into that. What is it that you do? Like as a so you okay, you started meeting these women and you started realizing that you had
mhm.
something or that you already knew you had something and you started practicing. What happened?
Well, I had a feeling that I had something, especially when I learned we were talking about things I grew up doing and like in the area like my family was doing. Um and so I just like dove headfirst. I read every book on every religion that I could get a hold of. I uh I
Great.
you
That's
know
awesome.
yeah, I went to like we have like a Buddhist center here. I went to a Muslim mosque. I went to like a Jewish synagogue. I went everywhere, all places of worship. Just talk to people, like, because I wanted to learn about everything. Because I grew up very strict. I grew up, very like women didn't have an opinion. Women didn't have a voice. I was really the first generation, and my cat, sorry, in my generation, to um not be just raised to be a housewife, like with no opinion and no education
Right.
and stuff like that. I was the first person in my
Yeah.
generation to break that curse. And my
Oh, that's
grandmother,
cool.
sure, I was the one to break that kind of generational curse that a lot of, families from rural areas, they still have those issues in those areas and stuff. And so when I wanted to find out about all these different faiths, like I didn't want to just read about it. Like I would go to their church and like talk to the person in charge, like at the synagogue. I talked to the rabbi and I'm like, hey, I just have questions. I would love to know anything and everything that you can give me. And so I've literally just picked up things that just touched my heart. When I would talk to these different practitioners or talk to these different people of clergy, like in these rituals and traditions that all these other paths and all these other religions and faiths had, whatever just touched my heart, I just brought home to my path, you know.
There you
Um,
go.
because
Oh,
someone
look,
said,
a called examiner. A called
mhm.
exam. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You have a great role. You're doing fantastic.
Oh, no,
I
no, no, you're
need
fine.
to
Oh,
go,
I,
but I will be keeping
mhm.
an eye on your more of your work. And this person wrote. I'm sorry, they wrote twice. I'm looking for more women to do panel discussions with the history of magic and the mysteries. Would
Aw.
love to have you on. There you go. So,
Oh, well,
occult
definitely like
examiner.
follow me.
If we'll admit, yeah, we'll reach out and touch one. Not touch, but
Yeah.
and keep in touch. It's that awful.
Yeah. I'll follow you, dude. Like,
I
or
also
whoever
got a
you
new
are.
member.
Sorry, I shouldn't assume. Yeah. Woohoo.
I got the Dead Sea Chronicles, the Dead Sea Chronicles, the Dead Sea
The
Chronicles,
Dead Chronicles.
Dead Chronicles. You can become a
Woohoo.
member.
Shout
Oh,
out
by the
Dead
way, guys,
Chronicles.
yeah, the super chats are open. All that stuff's open too, guys. If you feel in the mood, go ahead and do so. Yeah. So you went out. You started reading. You started actually seeing these things, and you brought it back with you. Okay, please continue. This is fascinating.
Oh, well, I mean, that's like kind of it. I've just been doing that for the past 20 years. Still in the city, still a hillbilly stuck in the hood, but but I've learned so much from my city, and it's been fun. So, but yeah, so I still do. I'm still reading new things. I'm still exploring new ideas, and I'm on like this thing now with like high strangeness, and I'm obsessed.
Okay.
I got some really really good books.
Okay.
There's a book called High Strangeness, and it was like written. I can't remember when it was written. It's not a new book, um, but I went from like cryptids to goblins, and then it led me down like a high strangeness genre, and I went down that rabbit hole, and that's just where I've been staying. And do you know what high
Yeah.
strangeness is?
Yes. I mean,
Yeah.
my
Okay.
buddy Michael Cameron wrote a book called High Strangeness. He also has a book. That's the first thing I thought it was Michael Cameron. He wrote a book recently.
It
He's
might be him. I don't
member of
know.
the super.
Like maybe it is him.
No, it's recent. His book is new. I think it came out last year.
Oh,
It's like super soldier and alien abduction and all kind of pretty wild stuff.
yes.
So, yeah,
Well, I
yes,
will definitely
he's a
be
good
like
friend of mine now.
purchasing a copy. So,
Michael, give me some kickback.
yeah. Well, the reason the high strangeness really piques my curiosity is because of like what we encountered, like what I encountered like in the Ozarks growing up, like in the caves, in the cave system. There was always like kids shouldn't go down there and play. They would tell us there's like a boogeyman that lives there that would get us if we went in there.
Mm,
And then like, as we got older, we were like, well, yeah, they just told us that to keep us out because we don't have a place to go like smoke and drink, like we're gonna sneak in here and do it anyway. Well, people didn't even
right.
sneak in and do it for a reason, because you didn't last very long, because there was something in there. I'm not sure what it was, but it was a lot of little beans that had a lot of little footprints but we just booked it whenever we saw it. I wasn't going to
Wow.
stick around to find out.
Did we go into some of your
This,
experience? I think you told me of an experience that you had
oh
with
yeah, because
there was a soldier that you've seen,
yeah, that was
like
a
a World War
ghost.
One soldier that right.
That was
Yeah.
a ghost. Yeah.
So in practicing your magic, what
hmm
has like transpired to like make you go farther along in your journey of doing so?
Well, actually, a lot of high strangeness, one, and two, like, I am not a person who takes a lot of pictures. Okay. I
Oh,
never have been, because I'm too busy having fun, like in the moment, and
right. That's me.
so, and I mean, would I love to capture some of the things I have experienced on film? Of course. but then I have to live my life 24/7 with something recording me. Like, so that's like where I have to find the balance, like
Right.
coming into the social media world. But there have been so many times where I have felt so low and so depressed, and I'll just go outside and be like, just let me be outside for a little bit. Just let me be like in nature. That's my neighbor's dog. I'm so sorry. It's the neighbor. If you can hear it, I don't know if you can hear it. I can hear it, but it's the
Yeah,
neighbor's
I can hear
dog.
it.
And I'm sorry. It's the I can't. I have no control over that puppy.
Okay, you guys need to send over a tranquilizing dart immediately to Lyria's house.
I know. Well, I feel really bad
eventually,
because like they leave them outside all the time, and I'm like, why don't you just let me keep him? I've actually asked to keep this dog because he's cute. And because I'm in my bedroom,
when you do your show,
I think he can hear me.
Yeah, when you do your show, are you going to be in another part of your house, maybe in the basement or something like that?
Oh yeah, like I have. Oh yeah, I know. I have. Oh no, believe me, I know. No, I have like an office. Like I'm like rearranging furniture in my house. I've been painting. Like I'm like full force.
Ooh.
We're just in here because we don't want to see half painted walls and unassembled furniture.
I want to see half painted walls.
Yeah. So like it's so cool. Like it's not a background I want to have right now.
Yeah, no, we're sorry about the barking dog, guys.
Yeah, and soundproofing and stuff. It's my neighbor's dog. I'm in my bedroom, and I use this. I have a microphone. Backyard.
That's not your fault.
Yeah, their backyard is like right off of my bedroom.
Yeah,
so it is what it is. Me. Yeah, he can hear me, and that's I think why. So I'm sorry. Eventually, he'll stop. I texted the neighbor earlier, and yeah, but I feel bad because I'm doing so good. It's gonna ruin it.
C'est la vie, no big deal. Things that happen sometimes. It's one of those things that happens. We can't.
Yeah.
We can't predict the future.
But the high strangeness.
Sometimes I have children running around in the hall. Sometimes someone's honking a horn outside, and what?
Oh yeah, yeah. The high strangeness. Okay, so the high strangeness. Just when I think I can't be convinced enough I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, something of like a high strangeness quality will like smack me in my face. Okay, like my name. I have like a very unique name, right? Not a lot of people have my name, or have heard of it. I've heard it once in a movie, and that was it. Like it was a character in a movie. Like that's the only time I've ever like seen my name written, heard it anywhere. So I was with it was like I was probably like in my mid 30s, and I hadn't been like doing a whole lot with my magic, and I was with my girlfriend, like not a girlfriend, but like a friend, and she was like, you really haven't been practicing that much, and you don't really like post about like your magical stuff anymore. And she's like, are you okay? And I'm like, I don't know. I was like, I just don't know if like I should do it anymore. And I was going through a lot like personally. And like I was just really struggling. I was not in a good place. And she said, well, well, I didn't know you were like, feeling so bad. She goes, how about we have a girls' day? And I said, okay. And she said, oh, there's a new exhibit. Was
that a cat's tail?
Yeah, my cat. Like she's stubborn, and yeah, she's like, yeah.
I was like, what did I was
how the camera
talking about
like
high strangeness in the sea.
Yeah. Yeah. Because the camera, have you noticed it like slightly keeps shifting like this because she's rubbing up against the laptop, like, and I'm just trying to like get her. She's crazy. Anybody want a cat? Like, you can have her.
Okay, please continue. I'm sorry. It was just
no, it's fine. I know, like cat tail. Yeah.
I didn't
like,
mention
cat mum. Yeah.
Like, why did you say something?
Like cat mum. Yeah. So okay, so like she's like, let's go have a girls' day because you're feeling blue. And I said, okay. So I'm a nerd. I love history. I love museums. She's like, oh, they have a new exhibit at a pretty famous museum here. Yeah. And she said, and it's because it's new, it's free today. Let's go. And I'm like, heck yeah, like, let's go. So this museum exhibit, I'm telling you, in the car on the way there, she was like, I would feel so bad for you if you stopped practicing your magic. And she goes, you have helped so many
I
people.
love your
Yeah,
cat.
I just need to get, yeah. I was just like, put it down and like, go on. Yeah. And now she's like, let me see. Yeah, like I wish you could see her. She's giving me the most evil look. Like, we're gonna scooch over in case she decides to attack. And she said, I would feel so bad if like you lost like your like if you quit doing your magic, because she's like, it's really become a big part of who you are. And she said maybe you're just disconnected. Maybe, you just need to have a reconnection to, feel more to feel more connected to it and more in it. And I said, maybe. And I said, I don't know, like we'll just see what happens. So not only did this exhibit, who I didn't know what it was about, she just told me they were opening it and it was new. I was like, okay, let's go. Not only was it about folk magic, like like the history of the Appalachians, history of the Ozarks together, there was a woman that they talked about how like she saved a whole bunch of people, and she helped save a couple of slaves and stuff like that. And guess what her name was? Lyria.
Oh wow.
Never
Okay.
ever. Yeah. So I was like,
Lyria.
okay. I'm like, I'll start doing it again. So it's just always been big things like that. Or like when I'm sad and I sit outside, and I just feel like kind of down and alone. I'm kind of sending up my prayers to whoever will listen. Like a butterfly will come, like land on me, like a hummingbird, blue jays, cardinals, deer, all kinds of stuff. And like I said before, since I'm not a person who takes a lot of pictures, I kind of think I'm not supposed to take pictures of all these beautiful things because they're not meant for anybody but just me. So when stuff like that happens, what are you guys doing? Listen, I'm trying
awesome.
to like.
I
Yeah, can you even repeat what I just said?
What's
Because you're too busy
happening is
laughing.
that
No.
she walked behind me.
Yeah.
This guy writes, I have a ghost girlfriend, and then it shows up over here on the screen, and it's very distracting, and I am
Oh yeah,
so
because
very
you can see like
sorry.
her
I
outline,
have
but
like
you can't. Yeah, like
four
see through it.
I have like 4 conversations going on, and I'm supposed to be with you. So you had the person with Lyria that you met that was a high strangeness, and you didn't know you should continue on what
Well, I
you're
went
doing.
to a
And
museum,
then
and
after
they
that, it was
talked about a
complete
woman.
chaos. Right. I'm so sorry.
Well, not really.
Okay.
But
Distractions.
that really isn't what happened. But that's okay. Like that's all right. It's okay. People heard it. It's fine.
Fair enough. I'm
So far, it's so not what happened, but that's okay. Yeah. So I don't know. I just like doing what I do.
Do you do any rituals or anything? Do you do any rituals
Oh
or
yeah,
anything
like
like
I
that?
do.
Like, do you
Yeah, I do
sage
rituals.
the
And I do,
house? Things.
oh yeah, definitely. And I do spell work and I do rituals and oh yeah, like definitely, especially this house. Like you definitely need like protection up in this
What's
house.
going on in your house? What's going on?
Oh, it's just because we had really toxic people living here before. And like they had like nasty stuff connected to them, like nasty spirits and stuff. And so yeah. Because like it's kind of like, okay, this is what I tell people. Like this is just my opinion. Okay, this is just my opinion from a person who has lived with a specific person being haunted, and also as a person who has lived with a home being haunted. spirits, ghosts, whatever you want to call them, they are like rodents. Okay, they're like pests. If
Okay.
one has found a way to get in, you can guarantee there's going to be others. So even though you got rid of one, you still have to block how they got in, or else everyone else is
Okay.
going to follow suit. And so every 3 months, I'm putting up new wards, I'm putting up new protections. Because think about in 3 months, think about how many people come and visit you. Well, I mean, not me really, because
Right.
like I don't really want people come visit me. But like think about how many people come in your house just in 3 months' time, whether it's you, your partner, friends, family, kids, animals. Think about how many times people come in and out of your home in 3 months' time.
Right.
Okay. And all that time they're outside, think of all the things they could pick up. They could pick up someone's. I mean, we're going to go across the gamut. Okay. Do I believe in all of these titles? Not necessarily, but we're just going to go with it. Demons, ghosts, poltergeists, all that stuff. You can pick those up and bring it home. You know,
Right. So like
um,
an attachment kind of thing.
yeah, like you can pick it up and bring it home. And so I always tell people like if you're a really hectic household, every 3 months. Like if you're a really busy in and out household, if not like every 6 months. And plus I live in a city. So there's a lot of
Right.
people, a lot of spirits, a lot of history. So I also do it too, like just because my neighborhood alone is very historical. And so it's in the
Okay.
regentrification process. And so I live in the historical part of
Okay. So it's the
downtown,
older
like
area.
yeah, a historical part of downtown Kansas City. So there's a lot of stuff here. I mean, a lot of cool things, but
Oh,
just in that
I've
alone,
been to Kansas City.
you're talking
One of
about
the
a lot
few
of
cities I've
spirits and
actually
stuff like that.
been in. I've
Yeah, I love
actually
it.
been to
I
Kansas
love
City.
like
Yeah.
it has. Yeah. Well, you should come back and then we'll do an episode where like I really show you Kansas City.
It's cold. I was there in like this time of year
Mhm.
25 years ago, something
Yeah.
like that. 20, not 25, 23
Yeah.
years ago. And it was just too
Yeah.
cold. I'll deal without the cold right now. I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, we'll come
So, like,
back in the spring.
is there certain things that are happening in the house? Is there certain things that are happening that makes you go, it's like, what are you seeing that makes you have to
Oh
do
no,
this?
it's just because we're a busy household. Like we're in and out. Like we leave the house every day because I do drop off and pick up for school. We leave the house every day. Like my husband works, so he's encountering the public during the day. My children encounter the
Okay.
public, their peers and stuff. That's nothing specifically is happening here. I just do that. It's like, when like you have pests, you spray every couple months to make sure they stay out. That's just what this is. It's just like pest control. It's like let me just do a
Okay.
respray. Let
Is
me
there,
just
what
do a
does your
re-up.
husband What does your husband feel about what you do? What is he? What is he on? Because I know, like in this part of the Yucatan, which is San Salvador, it's not too far
Mhm.
away. It's maybe I'd imagine
Yeah.
7, 8 hours away from here, maybe a little farther,
Yeah.
10 hours. But this part
Yeah.
of Mexico is very witchy. It's got white
Mhm.
as well as
They
a
both
lot of
yeah.
black.
Yeah.
It's probably a little
Yeah.
more black than white here. What is he?
Yeah.
What is his take on what you do?
Well, um,
Excuse me.
okay, well, I don't think he really cares. He's not listen, that's not
Well,
a
you don't have to.
question.
You don't have to if you don't want to.
No, it's okay. Um, he does I mean, I don't think he really honestly knows what I do, but he has told me some like crazy stories about him in El Salvador. So, um, well, I mean, because like even if he asked me, like, do I think he'd even care enough to like hear the answer? No, probably not. He's like 20 years
Oh wow.
older than
Okay.
me and grumpy. Like he doesn't care what I do. He's like 20 years older and grumpy than me. You don't care what I do. No. Like I think he does understand a little bit, but like it's just like that's your thing. Cool. Like he doesn't tell me he thinks I'm a devil worshiper or anything, but he has claimed to have seen a black magic practitioner bring a dead bird back to life. But okay, hold on, folks. But but this was also during
Okay.
a time that okay, what am I allowed to say on here? Like of a
Well,
cartel
you can't
business of
say
imports and
you.
exports in that
You
area.
can kind of
Right? Okay.
yeah, that's cool. Just kind of say it
Yeah.
that way. You're good.
Um,
Okay, fair
I
enough.
know that was in the business of imports and exports during the late
Yes,
90s,
yes.
mid to late 90s in that
A very
area, especially El Salvador. Um,
right.
yeah, they
A completely taxed
I
and
know,
government
yeah,
regulated import and
of
export business.
course, of course. Um, so anyway, I know a lot of those people, or like the ringleaders and bosses of those organizations. I know that they used as an intimidation and fear tactic. Exactly. Yes, Smurfy. Very good.
La farmacia.
Yeah, I like
That
it. Like,
translated
yes,
for people who don't is the
see.
pharmacy.
Like,
Well,
it's
yeah, it's
see.
pharmacy business, pharmaceuticals.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
Um,
see, claro,
but I
way,
know
see.
that they like what he explained to me. That was also used as a big intimidation and fear factor for the bosses of those businesses to use against people. Like, if you don't do this or if you don't work for me, this is what can happen to you. And oh my gosh, what's the name
Right.
of that guy? Uh I wish I would have thought about this topic and I've
El,
looked this guy up. He was in I think it was like the late
El
80s,
Chapo.
early 90s. No, but he was that type of boss,
Uh,
but he actually like they found a cauldron
yeah.
where like he would, you know who I'm talking about? Where they would like,
Uh,
I don't know his name, but you know who I'm
oh,
talking about, right?
did he have a
He
Netflix series?
I think it was like on an episode of like a true crime show, but like, you know who I'm talking
Escobar.
about? Like, they found a
You're talking about Escobar.
cauldron. I don't think this was his name. I can't remember. But they found like a cauldron where he had put like human body parts and like cooked it in a black magic spell and stuff like
Oof.
that. Like, that was a real true crime. Like, it was in like the late 80s, early 90s. And it wasn't in El Salvador, but it's in that area with the
Okay.
same kind of business. And
Yes.
so I think
Pharmaceuticals.
that could have been what he was wrapped up into. Like, I think because, like, I don't know, he has a picture of the devil up in our house, but it's supposed to scare the devil away. And I'm like, so he would be afraid of
Well, I
himself?
mean, that would work for me. If you
Like,
put a picture of myself in my own
I
house, I
mean,
might
if you
scare
want him
myself
to be
away.
afraid, yeah, like if you, right? That's like, but if you want to like him to be afraid of himself, like, why don't you like put up a mirror? And he's like, oh, but like, I don't know, like, we have to keep it up. He freaks out if I take it down. Like, it doesn't bother me, but I
It's
don't know
one of those
why.
things. They have things like
Yeah.
that here too,
Yeah, they
where
have
like
things like that,
there
yeah,
has to be
like, there's
rosaries and
no explanation. Yeah, there's no explanation. But see, he doesn't do the rosary stuff. He's not a Catholic. He's like a Pentecostal, actually. So it's like sizzling
really.
bacon with an accent. Yeah. It's like a
Wow,
Spanish holy
that's
roller.
completely different.
Yeah, which
Okay,
I'm like,
that's
and then also, but then you want to hang a picture of the devil in the house? Like, I
you might
don't
want to
know.
look into that a little bit more. You might want to look into that a little bit
Yeah,
more.
because I'm like, well, because he said it's because of what he did when he was younger, when he was working not for the people who own the business, but he worked for people who worked for people
For
for
people.
the business. Yeah.
Well, that would
He was
implicate
just,
me then because I've worked for
oh,
people who have cattle ranches who work for people who run pharmaceuticals, but it's not my fault. Um, is this the name? Marcian Punal? Is that
yes,
correct?
yes, because he
Thank
was
you,
like in like the
Murphy.
yeah, Smurfy, you're awesome.
Good job.
You're
Awesome. Thank
awesome.
you.
Shout out Smurfy.
Yeah.
Everybody follow Smurfy. No.
La 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 la.
Yes. Listen, first of all, let's talk about the Smurfs for a hot minute. They were
That's a
awesome.
spooky stuff, dude. That's a spooky stuff too.
It
The
is
little blue
because
men
they
in the
were,
woods. They live
yeah.
in mushrooms.
And a creepy old guy like literally made him out of like made a girl out of clay to trap him. Okay, so like why did
Right.
like That was weird.
homunculus. Like that's like the Aleutians that I talk about here. That's the same thing. They make them out of clay and mud, and they use corn sacrifice.
Yes.
What tripped me out the most is that they walked in the woods all day long with white socks on, and they never got dirty. Come on.
Yeah, how did that happen? You have white pants. Except for Papa Smurf who had red pants. But like, why does he have red pants? That just makes him look like Santa Claus. Okay, I don't have the holiday spirit 12 months out of the year. Okay, like you're lucky if you get Christmas Day. So that was a bit much. But yeah, why do you have white pants? White pants in the woods? No.
And it's also all males except for the one that was created, which was a female.
Yeah, which weird.
Very, very. It is weird. It's a weird show when you look back and they live in mushrooms and they're going la 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 la. It's pretty trippy.
Yeah, but you can also tell it's probably because like whoever was at the networks were like, listen, this is the year 19 whatever. We have to like put some women in there, and at the last minute, they put Smurfette. She was an add-on at the last minute because why is there only one?
Awesome. Yeah, this gotta
Because some male artist didn't want to come up with 20 different little outfits for 20 different little girl Smurfs. That's why. But you put everyone else in white pants. Why couldn't you just put all the other girls in white dresses? I don't know. I don't know. I'm just.
I try not to get into the minds, the heads and the minds of like creators of 80s cartoon shows.
Listen, you give me. Listen, I am the worst, like rabbit hole diver. Okay, you give me one topic, I will just dive right into that rabbit hole. Like, it's horrible. I just dive right in. Anything.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that you have to make sure when it comes to things that can be upsetting to you. That can be upsetting to you, no matter what it is. The way the world's going, what you're into. It's the thing is that you have to make sure it doesn't affect you emotionally. Yeah. Because that's what they want.
It's the subject you like deep dive.
You can't let them do that.
It's like, because I don't do anything like that. I do just like weird stuff.
Let anyone live rent free in your heart.
Yeah. I deep dive through things like probably no one else cares about.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's
like why do the Smurfs all have white pants?
Yeah, but the thing is with the
there's a reason. Everything has a reason. Like that's where my mind goes.
The dye that they put in the rivers of that forest.
Okay, and what kind
that
of
might be a comedic brain. That might be a comedic brain. That's what you're talking about, Lyria, is a comedic brain.
Yeah. Oh. And like, okay, what are Smurf berries? What are those? Are they approved by the FDA? Like, what is it? Is it a psychedelic? No wonder everyone is blue and their pants are clean because they're too busy being ripped out of their minds. They just sit there and don't do anything. Like, this is what I think of.
I just like the funny thing is that the two names of not the protagonists I guess are all the Smurfs, or at least Papa Smurf and Smurfette are the protagonists, but the anti-protagonists are German names, Gargamel and Osriel.
Yeah, like Gargamel.
And there's a very interesting names. My ex-wife told me what they meant, but I can't remember. There's something to that too. It's some weirdness. That whole show is weird. Gargamel. Yeah. It's
Ew, talk about how strange that is.
They call them the Schlumpfer.
Hey, there's this like show. Well, this is how I found them. They're called Dana and Greg Newkirk, and they have a podcast, and they also run like a haunted objects museum, and so their podcast is really cool. But they have a show called Hellier, and they talk about their experience with this person that claimed to have like goblins like attacking them and haunting them, and it was like out in like some like BFE town in Kentucky. And so they go there. It's a docu-series. It's if you're interested in high strangeness and stuff like that, definitely check it out, because a lot of the things they talk about that
Okay.
happen in this area, like in the Appalachian area, is like similar to like things I heard of like growing up in the Ozarks, you know, and stuff like
Okay.
that. Like it's really, really good. You should definitely check it
So
out. You can
you're
watch
going to be doing, okay, we're going to go. Do you have a name
it.
for your podcast yet? Do you have a name for it?
Oh, Hillbilly in the Hood. Because I'm a hillbilly stuck in the hood. I love it. I embrace it. I embrace it.
So
It's
it's
fine.
Hillbilly in the Hood.
Yeah.
It's Hillbilly in the Hood, and it's going to be a true crime podcast. Are you
Like
ever
true.
going to go down the rabbit hole or the routes that our shows go down? Because I think your unique disposition and your individuality, the way you are as a person and
Yeah.
the way you go about things,
Mhm.
I think you would be a great person to go out, check out
Oh
places,
yeah,
and
it's
actually
not
talk
gonna
to people. I
be.
think you
Oh
would get a
yeah,
lot of
it's
things out of people.
not. Oh, well, thank you. Um, well, like I mean, because I like true crime, but I don't like. I'm not interested in the usual true crime cases like other true crime
Okay.
podcasters are. Like everyone kind of talks about the same people like over and over and over again. I want to talk about the people no one is talking about. I want to talk about the cases most people don't even know this has happened, and it's a big deal.
All
Like
right.
they're big, like, I mean, I like stuff like that, but, like true crime, but like I have so many interests. So I think it's going to be more like a lifestyle thing. Cause like just different things on different
Mm-hmm.
days. Like today I feel like doing a mukbang. So let's go do it. I don't know. Like, I don't know. I don't know yet. I have a lot of ideas for a lot of things, went down a lot of rabbit holes, did a lot of research. I have,
Just kind of,
who knows? Like,
my only suggestion is to start off slow, follow
yeah,
this, follow your intuition, follow the true eye, start off
yeah,
slow. It's
yeah,
going to be there's a sharp learning curve in everything that you're going to be
yeah,
doing. And just the people who like what you do are going to find you, and they're going to be
yeah,
attracted to what you do, and you're going to create,
yeah.
hopefully, as I have, and Magical, and all these people that are now surrounding
Mm,
me and being friends in this group, that will be a successful thing for
mm,
you. So I would definitely say just start off
yeah,
slow and do what it is that you
yeah,
love to do. But I think you personally, just from my point of view, would be a wonderful
mm,
person to be, like a person that goes to like some town in the middle of nowhere, like
yeah,
Kentucky or something, and you follow
yeah.
like some
And be like,
lead.
hey, yeah, like
What's this
just
all
like what
about?
these people did on this show. Yeah, like that's what these people did, and it's
Oh,
because I'm
okay,
country. It's because I'm country. I can talk to anybody. I
okay.
can talk to someone from the city. I can talk to someone from the country. I can talk. I'm just one of those people. My grandma was like, you can like bullshit with the best of them. I'm like, thanks. I used to think that was a like an insult, and now I've realized it's a compliment. So,
so so in
so
your practices, what would you say would be the strangest thing that has happened to you while doing your practice?
oh, there's so many.
Give me one or two examples. I would love to hear
There's
them.
so many. Um, like in a magical sense, or like it just happened. Like I burnt down. Like I
Oh,
tried
what
almost burnt
what
down my house because like a candle caught a curtain on fire. Because I was too busy. Like it's not
more
funny.
of a
Listen.
that's more of a bloopers reel, but I would like to see something high, strange, unusual, something that would be
Oh,
like,
because I'm
just
like
like,
things
well,
that
because
just happened, or
everyone's almost burnt down
yeah.
their house. I mean,
Well, no, because like I was like in a ritual, like, and I had my eyes closed, and I'm feeling all witchy, and I'm feeling all about it, and I'm like, wow, like that's a weird smell. Like I don't remember burning it incense that smell like that. And I opened my eyes, like the curtains are all on fire, but I was in it. I was just deep into
okay.
my thing, so I didn't notice that half of my home was on fire. Not half of my home, but close enough. It's fine. So yeah. Oh well. I know. Like one time, my friend told me my friend wanted to do. I can't remember how old I was. We weren't drunk. I know that we were sober. I do know that. Um,
That's a good
she's
start.
like, yeah. She's like, it's like, I don't know, it's probably like 2 a.m. and she's like, let's play with the Ouija board. And I'm like, oh, like, let's not. And she's like, yeah, let's do it. And I said, well, I would rather not. I was like, I'm cool with like not like this is before like anything magical. I was doing anything magical. I just never wanted to mess with them. And she goes, come on, you have to do it. And I was like, okay. So like, I was like, fine, whatever. Like peer pressure, I'll do it. You know, I was like, I was spending the night at her house or something. I can't remember what it was. And so like she had the Ouija board out and she had the planchette and she's touching it. And she's like, well, come on. She goes, well, I can't move if it's just one person. And I was just like, oh, really? Because like one of us is going to be moving it. And, you know, because I'm like, okay. Like, you know, I was like such like not into this. I was like, okay, whatever. So I touch it. It flies. I just barely touched it. Barely put my fingertips on it. Flew across the room, broke the mirror in her dresser. And I said, see, I told you. I was like, don't mess with it. And then she cried.
Wow.
And then the next day,
she cried.
Like, yeah, she cried. And I was just like, well, told you, like, you shouldn't be messing with it. I was just like,
are you guys still friends? I mean, I don't sound like it ended well.
Oh yeah, like we're still yeah, like we stayed like friends, yeah. But like she just was all about this Ouija board and I wasn't. And I was like, yeah, we shouldn't mess with it. And then I touched it and the thing flew across the room, hit the mirror in her dresser.
This is
and then
kind of a rule in the eye of
don't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like,
it's a rule on the eye of Jupiter. Yeah. We do not I don't.
Yeah, I don't want to.
Don't encourage that at all.
Yeah, and I think it is so stupid. They sell it as a toy, like at a toy store. It's like
you can make it out of a piece of cardboard and a glass.
You're just asking for lawsuits. You're asking don't make homemade ones. Don't buy one that's like packaged as a toy or a game. It's not.
Yeah, it has to be somewhere on the back where it's like whatever may happen to you we're not liable. Yeah. There's probably something that's some type of bylaw or something.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. It's crazy. We should look into that. We should be like,
yeah,
do people get like does the company? It's like, does that company get sued by people?
That's a true crime.
Paranormal.
There you go. Write that down.
I know. It's like we should look into that. Like, okay.
That would really work. That should work. That would be like maybe in one of your few episodes that you can write down.
That would be a cool topic.
Okay. So,
we should revisit that.
I'm so sorry about the distraction. Please accept my apology about being distracted in the middle of the show.
It's fine.
It is. Other than that, it's been a wonderful. The first time you were so completely nervous, and this time you killed it.
Oh, it was because I had no idea what I was doing. Yeah.
Actually, it was me, right?
Well, and honestly, it was a dream come true. It really was. Like being invited to be on a podcast. Anyone's podcast, because like who am I? Like nobody wants to hear me talk. Like, you know, like I'm completely convinced I'm doing this podcast just for my own ears to listen to. Like that is how much I'm like. Well, this is just fun to me. Well, look, but it was
Poncho. We just had Poncho on. And he's like, dang, he missed it. Poncho wrote, "Dying, I missed it." So because he came on late, better late than never, Poncho. You can always go back and rewatch it, buddy. So there's people wanting to listen to what you have to say, and I don't think you should. I think you should think yourself a little bit.
But I'm just saying,
not grandiose, but
yeah. But that was like where the nerves came from because I was like, "This is my dream. Like, I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm going to be on this podcast with this person. I don't even know what they talk about. I don't even know what their deal is. We're going to do it." Like,
I wasn't the first, was I?
Yeah.
Was I the first?
Yeah, that was my first time ever being on a podcast, ever like talking to anybody. Because I was in that live with you, Magical Journey, and Fisher Spams, and you all talked about how you hated when people would say they would do your show or be a guest and then back out, and you have to try to find someone to replace them. And I said, "Oh, I just made a funny comment like, I'm nobody important, but you all can talk to me." And then somebody like reached out to me and was like, "Oh, email both of them right now." And I go, "Okay," and that was it. Yeah.
Well, that's how it works. That's how it works. And that's also
Yeah.
now that you've seen that people do want to listen to what you have to say, we had up to 15, I think it was 14, 15 people on a Wednesday evening wanting to listen to what you have to say. So that's a good sign, a nice omen for your future podcast endeavor. And I, as well as everyone who's on the show, want to thank you very much for coming on with me this evening. I appreciate it so much.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for having me back. I had a great time, and like we'll definitely have to do it again.
Deal. We'll have it where like maybe I'll figure out something, and we'll have like where it's like me, you, and magical, you, I, and magical.
Yes.
And we'll all just get together and just have a nice little. We'll have a sewing circle.
Yes.
Sound cool?
That'd be so much fun. Yes, let's do it.
You do it. We'll do it. It's okay. Not to put any pressure on you. As soon as you release your first episode,
I knew you were gonna say that.
Go ahead and punch it up. You knew that's how it works over here. We're gonna motivate you one way or another to get it out there. You got something to say. We're gonna listen. So I want you.
If we have to wait for my podcast to premiere, okay, then you all have to come on a trip with me to go talk to some country bumpkins about goblins or something. Like you all have to come with me on a trip. Like not anytime soon, but we have to plan a trip where we can go together. Or I could come to Mexico and be like, "Hey, let's talk to some people in Mexico." I'd be cool with that.
You could definitely come to Mexico. I can't afford to do any trips. I haven't even seen my dad in 10 years. So I will be doing that
in Mexico. Yeah. But I'll talk to people.
Yeah,
I speak Spanish.
Poor.
I speak Spanish. I speak Spanish.
You speak
Let's
Spanish.
go talk to some people about like, hey, you see ghosts? Like, let's go.
Yeah. Oh, that would be cool. We'll definitely, dude. You don't tempt me with a good time. That would be fun.
Like, we can do that for sure. Is my Spanish perfect? No. Is it from El Salvador? Yes. But I think I could be, by the time we can plan it, I'll be past level 98 on Duolingo. So like I'm ready.
All right. But I definitely want to see this. So what I do when I say that is when I say, for example, hey, I don't want to have you on until you have your first episode out, is to give you positive reinforcement in what you're doing.
Like to do it.
And that's all right. It's not pressured. It's just it comes from it comes from a place of love, I promise.
Yeah. Oh no, I know. No. And then you can be my guest.
Oh, deal.
And we'll talk about whether that company gets sued for paranormal activity. Because now that's all I can think about.
So, Lyria, thank you so much. I told you it'd be an hour because I think you have something you have planned. So do I. And once again, thank you for coming on the show, and we will see you again in the future.
All right.
You're welcome. Have a nice day. So that was the wonderful Lyria Witch. That was the first time I got severely distracted during the show. Thank you for everyone in the group for distracting me. I think it was Freaky Geek because my new camera picks up my lady friend walking in the background. And then I said, so she's seen, because she doesn't like being on camera, so she's seen it up on the camera over here that she's watching the show at the same time. And it just got a little bit combobulated there. And I'm sorry that I missed that part of it. I do not mean to be that way. Anyhow, if you enjoy the iJupiter, please do me a favor. Like and subscribe to the channel. Watch it, share it, all that good stuff. Go over to your favorite podcasting audio and go ahead and download it. Leave a remark. Leave a what do they call it? Like a review of it, or what they call it, rating. I think that's what they call it. And do so as well. Thank you for I got a new member of this episode. That's always cool. And my buddy Chewy dropped me 20 pesos. So I appreciate that, buddy. And remember, we are the eye, we are aware, and I love you all.